So I was having dinner with a Tinder date this evening, and somehow we ended up sharing scary stories of things that have happened to us. I told him a couple of mine, and he told me that I should share this one on here, so here I am, sharing this with all of you as well. First off, I was 17 when this happened in 2016, and I'm a girl for context. My house is laid out kind of funny. To get to the front door, you have to walk down the drive at the side of the house, and to get to the back door, you have to go through a 7-foot gate. It's pretty obvious which door is the front door though, which makes this experience even creepier. So, I have 2 dogs. I bought a collie called Daphne and a little rescue Sproly lab mix called Dolly. These dogs, they're my pride and joy. So, when my parents suggested leaving them with a sitter so that we could all go visit my brother in America, I said no way. I didn't want to trust someone else with my dogs, and to be honest, as cool as a trip to America sounds, it was a long trip just to stay with my brother in Utah. I'm not a bad sister, just a good dog owner. My parents told me that they would still go and I could stay here with the dogs. This wasn't a big deal since I'd stayed home alone before many times and wasn't really scared of being by myself at night or anything. So, in 2016, about a year after, they booked the holiday. My dad is very conscientious of booking in advance and saving money. And off they went to Utah, and I stayed home with my pups. They were going to be gone for a couple of weeks, so my mum had left me a list of things that needed doing. Feeding the dogs, taking the rubbish out, that sort of thing. I wasn't really the type of person to throw massive parties or even go to them, so I was pretty happy to just spend my summer in my home and chill. And things went smoothly at first. Just normal, nothing to write home about really. And the best part was that I would take the dogs on the best walks where they could get absolutely filthy since my mum didn't usually like it when they came back from a walk covered in mud. I don't remember which day it was that I had been home alone. I wasn't keeping track since it was the summer and I didn't have a schedule for college or work. But I do remember though that it was about 5 o'clock in the evening, so it was still light outside, but the sky had a nice pink glow to it. I was sitting in the front room, which I don't usually do when my parents are home because that's where they sit and we don't watch the same shows or anything, so I had sprawled myself out onto the sofa with my feet up and probably watching Grey's Anatomy or something I liked. And then someone rang the doorbell. Not that crazy, but the thing is that they had rung the doorbell at the back of the house. I don't know why we have a doorbell at the back door since, well, no one ever really used it apart from to play pranks and stuff. So it was really odd that someone would reach over the side of the gate where it was shorter, unlock it and go to the back door. And even weirder because it was a small village and everyone pretty much knew each other and knew that the front door was much more accessible. I wasn't worried though, just a bit annoyed that someone was bothering me, so I got up and answered the door, looking a little pissed off. The man who answered wasn't particularly tall or intimidating, and my dogs, they seemed to like him as well. But they're soppy things and will make a fuss of anyone. I ordered them off him and they retreated to the back front room, clearly already bored of the visitor. He said that he was a salesman of some sort and that he was confused by the layout of my house, so he let himself in through the back way. He was smiling at me timidly, kind of embarrassed I think, and I told him that it was fine, but I wasn't interested in buying anything and began to close the door. But he put a hand up to stop me and tried to give me a sales pitch. And that's when the dogs started going nuts at the front door. They were barkers, but the barking that they were doing was super aggressive, something that I had never heard them do before. I told the man that I was sorry, but he needs to leave and went to investigate. The front door was literally a few steps away from the back, but you had to round a corner to do it, and as I did, I saw a man with one foot in my door, one hand on my dog's collar, Daphne's, and the other one raised to hit her. I quickly realized what was happening, that someone was trying to distract me at the back door so that someone else could break in the front and rob me. Or perhaps worse. It felt like my body was deflating with this realization, and I was honestly terrified. The man at the back door didn't seem to follow me in. In fact, I had a view from the front room window from where I was standing and saw him get into their little Corsa pretty much as soon as I had seen his friend at my front door. Anyway, the man had his hand up to hit Daphne, the collie, but Dolly, who was very protective of a new family after being rescued and had some pretty razor-sharp teeth, was having none of it. I'm not sure exactly where she bit him, but she seemed to do it all over, in fact, and Daphne soon joined in too. I'd never seen a dog attack before, but it was actually really gory. I literally just stood there for a few seconds in pure shock. As silly as it sounds, the only thing that I could think of while my dogs were attacking the intruder was that if they killed him, they might have to be put to sleep. So I stupidly called them off. It took a few yells, but they did eventually release the man, who got up and limped or ran to the Corsa his friend was waiting in, thankfully not coming in any further to my house. Yes, I called the police, and no, we don't have cameras, so naturally, not much came of it. I actually didn't tell the police that my dogs attacked the man too, just that they scared him off because I was honestly terrified that they'd be punished for protecting their home or something. So I kept the doors locked all day for the rest of my spell at home. And my parents, they came back early, and we do the same thing to this day. In the end, all I can say is that, man, I'm so grateful for my dogs, and words cannot explain just how much I appreciate them and love them. Oh, and also, I'm seeing my Tinder date again next week, so there's a second happy ending for you. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys.